everybody, Chris, the old-ass retro gamer here. Today I'm going to talk about something that is a little different. It kind of has to do with games, but it kind of doesn't have to do with games. But it's something that I've become interested in recently, and that is pixel art. You know what I'm talking about. You get those little plastic pearls and you organize them in little patterns on that little board of pegs, and you put a little iron on them and melt them together. And you figure it'd be like a little crafty thing that a teenage girl would do. But I've noticed in the gaming community that more and more people are starting to collect these things because, you know, out of all the channels that I watch on YouTube, I see at least one pixel art piece in the background of everyone's videos. And through watching Aaron Kosharski's videos, I got in contact with the guy that does the pixel art that he advertises in his flea market videos. On Facebook, he goes by Magneto Pixel Art. One of them I saw in an episode of Aaron Kosharski's flea market videos, and that was a Shovel Knight. If you follow my channel at all, you would know that Shovel Knight was my favorite video game from 2014. When I saw this on a shelf in the video, I said I have to have it. So I contacted him and asked if he would sell it to me, and of course he agreed. And I also asked him at the same time if he would be willing to make a custom piece for me, something that I had actually asked someone on Facebook a lot earlier to make for me, and they kind of flaked on it. And he enthusiastically agreed, said he never made that character before, and he had all the parts he needed to make it. And the custom one that he made for me is the main character from ActRaiser. And I gotta admit, it looks just like the character from the game. God damn. As well as the Shovel Knight, because the Shovel Knight is rad. And then while I was at Gen Con, he started posting pictures on his Facebook page showing off some of the new items that he was making to sell at the flea market. And one of them really caught my eye because it is of a game that I've been trying to get a hold of since I started to get back into collecting. And I can't seem to find it for a decent price. And it is based on one of my favorite movie series of all time. And that is this massive freaking Godzilla. But this is so freaking cool. And when this showed up in the mail, yeah, it was kind of broken. I ended up being able to fix it. Mail people, if a package says do not bend, that does not mean fold it in half and cram it into a mailbox. Just saying. I had a birthday coming up, and as of recording this, it was last week. It was a pretty big birthday. I'm not going to tell you what age I became, but yeah, it was a milestone. And to thank my friends for coming over and spending the day with me, I decided to give them some gifts that were gaming related, since one of the activities that I had planned for the party was to play a big-ass game of Super Smash Bros. For the Wii U, and we had like a 6-player game going, and oh my god, was that epic. The only thing I could really think of was, how about I make some pixel art of my own to give to my friends? So I did a little research, and it turns out this is a fairly inexpensive hobby. All you really need is an iron, which most people have in their homes. You know, just a standard iron. Doesn't have to be anything fancy. As long as it can turn on and it heats up, it'll melt things. And the pearls and the trays to put them on. So what I did was I went to a Michael's that's right around the corner from my house. It was, a craft store. And I picked up this bucket of pearls. This has 11,000 pearls in it of all different colors. This cost $20 for this entire thing. And I also bought a few extra bags of specific colors of pearls that I knew I was going to use a lot of, such as black, white, and flesh color. The trays that you need to organize them on, and I got a 4-pack of them, which I do believe was like $8, and they have like these pegs on them that you can put the pearls on and organize them in the shapes that you want. To make bigger ones, they also link up, which is pretty cool. And some wax paper, which is what you need to put on top of the pearls once you've got everything organized and laid out the way you want. Put this on top, iron the wax paper so it doesn't come in direct contact with the pearls, because if you did, they'd all stick to the damn iron. And iron them all until you think that they've melted. I put something heavy on top of them in order to press them down so that they stick together and they don't curl up, because once you heat these things up, they start to curl a little bit, buckle, and that's it. Question remains, how do I know how to organize these things in the patterns I need in order to make them look like what I want them to look like? Well, that's where a little website that I have never really messed around with comes into play, and that is Pinterest. I always thought Pinterest was like a little kiddie version of Instagram, and I never really messed around with it until I started doing some research looking for patterns that I could use to make the characters that I wanted to make, and it turns out they're all on Pinterest, and it's all free. So I would just type in the name of a character I wanted to make, and like Perler or pixel art, and I would find patterns, I would find pictures, I found everything I needed, the colors, easy as pie. I decided to make 5 sets of characters, one for each of my guests. Did a little recon. I told them I was making a video about some of the most popular video game characters and asked them what theirs were, just so I can get a name from them so I can make them into a pixel piece. And I got to work. I started off small. My one friend, Justin, really is into Bubble Bobble. I guess that's one of his favorite games. And he told me Bub and Bob were his favorite characters. So I found patterns of those characters, and those were the first ones I made. And the way they turned out, they look just like the characters. The only problem was I went a little crazy with the ironing and kind of melted them a little too much. So those were the first pancakes. While they looked good, they were a little melty. My friend Lorelei really likes Simon Belmont from Castlevania. So I found a pattern of a picture of Simon with the whip straight out in front of him. And that didn't take long at all. And the thing was, I was kind of like, there could be more. So I decided to make a little companion piece to it, which ended up being the Medusa that Simon fights in the first Castlevania game. And that took a little bit of doing. That one was really complicated with all the different snakes coming off the head. But I found a pattern for it, and it worked out great. And then I decided to go one step further. My friend Elizabeth really is into Final Fantasy and the Moogles and the Chocobos. So I actually found a pattern of a Moogle riding a Chocobo. Up until this point, the only characters I had done had been in the 8-bit style, which was very simple colors, nothing crazy. Now I'm getting into 16-bit, where, there's more colors involved. This took a little bit of doing. And I'll show you how I made this piece in time-lapse photography, sort of. This piece took me about a good 2 hours to put together. It was rough, but I did it, and it came out looking great. She was so thrilled when she saw it. My friend Nick was coming. He said his favorite character was Mega Man. So I decided to do up my game once again, and I made a very large Mega Man from, I guess it's Mega Man 7. After doing that one, I never want to see the color blue ever again. But it came out looking great. Like phenomenal great. It's awesome. And he was just like, ah, when he saw it. And finally, my friend Charlie came, and he said that his favorite character was Link from Legend of Zelda. And for this one, I was like, okay. I've been escalating for each one of these. Let's go a little bit further this time. And I found a very complex and very complicated pattern for a Link that I don't think was from any specific game. I think it was just a pattern I found of someone's art piece of Link holding his sword and his shield. The amount of colors in it went beyond 16-bit, I'll tell you that much. It took me 4 hours to put this piece together. From the moment I came home from work that day until the moment I went to bed, I was working on this thing. And getting it to melt together was a task. It turns out that some of the pearls that I used all weren't exactly the same height. So getting these things to melt together the way they should, some were higher than others. Some of them didn't even come into contact with the iron and the heat, so I had to use the point of the iron to get in there and try to get it to melt at least a little bit to stick to each other. And oh my god, that thing took another hour to iron out. The end product was well worth it because this thing looked awesome. And when Charlie took it out of the little bag that I put it in, he just looked at it and went like, oh my god, wow. Everybody seemed to like what I had made for them. They didn't believe that I had actually made them because they knew that I'd been buying pieces beforehand and they figured I just bought them. Nope, I made those with my own 2 hands. So what do I think about the experience? Well, it was fun making them, and it was definitely worth seeing their expressions when they opened up the packages that I had them in. They all seemed to like it, which made me happy. It's very time-consuming depending on the pattern you're using. If you're going for something that is, it doesn't matter if it's big or whatever, it helps if you have these colors pre-organized. For pretty much all of them, I was just basically pouring a little bit of what was in the bucket into a bowl and then sifting through the bowl looking for the colors I needed, then pour a little bit more into the bowl and just keep repeating that over and over again. That was probably the most time-consuming part of it. Putting the pattern together is not hard. As long as you have a really good picture or pattern to go by, it's easy as hell, as long as you can count. I highly recommend you organize the pearls by color in advance, that you have them all in their own little separate containers so you can just pull from them as you need to. Makes it so much easier and so much faster, but that's going to be a task in itself because I still have everything in this container, and it's just like I dread having to make another one of these things because I don't want to pick through this again. Another problem is some of the patterns I used had colors in them that I could not find anywhere. Some of them had colors of brown and shades of red and other shades of blue that were not in this container that I'd bought, and I could not find them individually anywhere in the stores that I went to. And I went to 2 different stores at one point looking for different colors and different shades. Couldn't find them to save my life. And I'm not going to go off of what I find on the internet because there's no way to compare my color to that color that they have available. So it's kind of like, whatever. If I can't find it in the store, I'm not going to find it anywhere. So I had to improvise a few times, especially for the Mega Man and the Link, because I couldn't find extra shades of blue and extra shades of, green and brown that was in these pictures. So I had to improvise, and I think they still turned out pretty good. I mean, you've seen the pictures. They look pretty decent as far as I'm concerned. But I had a good time making them. It sucked up a lot of time, but all hobbies do. I mean, come on. I mean, playing video games is a hobby. That thing is a major time suck. As long as you're getting some kind of enjoyment out of it, it's all good. So what are your thoughts on pixel art? Do you think that it's worth it? Do you think that it's something that's collectible at all? Do you have any pixel art? Do you think it's stupid? I mean, if you do collect pixel art, what pieces do you have? Let's see if we can get some pictures going. Let's see if we can get some video responses showing off your pixel art, because I've shown you what I've bought, and these are rad as hell. I do plan on making some more at some point. I mean, not right away. I mean, I'm still kind of burnt out on having to do 5 of them within the space of a week and a half. But I don't regret it. I want to hear everything you have to say about the topic. I'm interested, totally, because, I've done it. So thanks for watching. I'd greatly appreciate it. I appreciate all of you subscribers that keep tuning into my episodes. Makes it all worthwhile when people seem to enjoy themselves. If you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel. Can't hurt. Please give the video a thumbs up if you like what you see. That way I know that you're enjoying yourself. And of course, comments. Nothing but comments. Let's get all the comments going down there. And please share the video on the social media. Do me a solid. just share it wherever you can. So until next time, I am Chris, the old-ass retro gamer, signing off. And please share the video on the social media, on the LinkedIn. The LinkedIn. What the fuck is wrong with me?